Hey everybody, welcome back to another Triple Hound video, and we are making more custom Fortnite skins. We got a really good response to our custom What If skins from the Marvel Universe, doing custom Fortnite skins of some of the alternate universe versions of Marvel characters that we have seen now or think we will see in this upcoming Disney Plus series Marvel What If. In our last video we did Captain Carter, or who we called at the time Captain Britain, the Peggy Carter sort of super soldier character. We also did a version of Gamora wearing the Thanos armor, who we've seen teased in some of the preliminary art for the show. And we also did a version of T'Challa as Star-Lord, again, who we've seen in the show, teasers and stuff. Since then, we've gotten requests to make a zombie hunter Spider-Man, who you see in front of you here, as well as a zombie version of Iron Man. We assume in What If, the zombie hunter Spider-Man, who's basically just Spider-Man with like a Sorcerer Supreme looking Doctor Strange cape, we assume that zombie hunter Spider-Man is going to be hunting some of the zombie Avengers like Iron Man and Captain America. I'm not really sure. There is a zombie Avengers story arc in the comic books. I'm not sure how closely the What If version of the story is going to mimic that. One of the things about the zombie Avengers Marvel story arc in the comic books is that Spider-Man himself is a zombie as well. So I'm not really sure where the zombie hunter Spider-Man comes into it, but we know that he does. There's been plenty of teasers, there have been toys and stuff that have been released that have identified this caped version of Spider-Man as the zombie hunter Spider-Man. So that's what we're going with, and that's what we got a request for, so we're going to get into it. To make our zombie hunter Spider-Man, we used the appropriately titled Hunter skin. Suit pattern Intrepid. We did put the mask on, the full mask on here. On our previous Spider-Men that we've made custom skins for, we have pretty much always left the mask off, in part because Spider-Man doesn't have a mask that looks like this. This mask is really sort of off for him. We don't like it as a mask for Spider-Man, but I don't know, Peter Parker, the rest of this costume is basically perfect. So when you take his mask off, it's just basically Spider-Man with his mask off. You put the mask on and it's not quite Spider-Man anymore. So that is why we've made that decision in the past, but for now I'm going to leave the mask on. Eye mask off and belt on. Primary suit material, we decided plastic, with the primary color of red, staying with plastic for the secondary material in royal blue as a color. Of course, we make his accessory red, no eye effects or eye color. No skin tint or hair tint necessary. I left orange on there from a previous make. And of course, the Mighty Spider logo on his chest. This is really perfect. Now, you may or may not agree with this next choice, but I gave him the Superman cape, which is just out recently with all the Superman stuff. Obviously, there are other capes you can use, and the giant Superman logo doesn't make sense on a zombie hunter Spider-Man. Got it. However, this is nice and long, and the way that it kind of stretches out behind him and curls a little bit on the corners there really mimics what this cape does, at least in the teaser art for the zombie hunter Spider-Man. It's longer and kind of more animated than the other capes that we have access to. I just didn't think the other capes looked as good, so I decided to kind of deal with the fact that he's got a giant Superman logo on it and just kind of say, well, at least from the front, this is perfect. I gave him the Phantasmic Pulse. Again, you could make this sort of white on white and pretend he's shooting webs out of his hands, but I made it yellow because, again, I think this is the Sorcerer Supreme cloak of levitation thing that he's got on him, and if he's got Doctor Strange type powers, then he would have those ability to make those kind of gold sorcery ring things with his hands. So it kind of works either way. You can either make it white on white as a web slinging thing, or a gold on gold as a Doctor Strange type thing. I gave him the Avengers Quinjet simply because presumably he's got to get around somehow. I don't know, after the zombie apocalypse, how people move around, but he's going to use the Quinjet. Zip ribbons for a contrail. And Spider-Man-y kind of agile things here. Daywalker's kata, Widow's pirouette, evasive maneuvers. I did give him this sort of Raven emote, just in case he's got some Doctor Strange-y type powers. Again, I don't really exactly know how it's going to go in the What If show, so there's a lot of me just guessing here. The Knighted wrap has the right kind of dark red and black thing to it. So that is how we made our Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. Obviously, as you can see, it's pretty damn close to the same thing we've made for a bunch of other Spider-Man. Our original Peter Parker Spider-Man that we put out seriously months and months and months ago. And our Mark IV Spider-Man, which we put out fewer months ago, but still months ago. And now our Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. It's basically just that guy with a cape. And now we have our Zombie Iron Man. And I gotta say, like, this ended up being more fun than I thought it would be. If you think about what Iron Man looks like when he's not a zombie, he's largely just, you know, a metallic red and gold suit with different plating in different places. His face is largely gold and his chest is red. And that's really what I tried to get out of this costume for him. Alright, let's get into some of the better details. So you can really use any of the male boundless customizable skins to make him. Doesn't really have to be any one in particular, because you're going to change his skin color to be green. And once you've done that, everything else basically is the same body type wise. We used the suit pattern Peerless, and in this case had a half mask head style, although just like Peter Parker and Spider-Man, if you'd rather he be a zombie without his helmet on, I'm going to just use one of these. The trouble with some of the mask off versions is he looks just a little too alert. Obviously a zombie version of anybody is going to be kind of a slack-jawed, dead-eyed, kind of rambling monster. And these look like he's just, you know, a green fellow who might as well be at the library studying. So that doesn't work as well as if you put a half mask on. His eyes go white. It's still not perfect. He's still not slack-jawed, but it's a little bit better. It hides some of that alertness, I guess. No eye mask, but give him a belt. In the case of Iron Man, of course, everything's going to have to be metallic. So primary material is metallic. In this case, we use gold. Secondary material is also metallic, of course, and we use brick red. Accessory color is also brick red. No eye effects or eye color. And for the skin tint, we use the moss green, which is just a little bit of a darker, more putrid green than the lime green. We don't want him looking like an alien, we want him looking like a zombie. I think in some of the teaser photos I've seen, they've almost had like a bluer type skin to them, in which case you might want to use one of these other ones, more like, I guess, sort of rotted flesh. Hard to know. Anyways, we're going to use moss green. We used the no scope to be kind of his arc reactor type thing on his chest. Not sure if that holds up when he becomes zombified, but we're going to put it there anyways. We thought about putting a zombie sticker of some kind, but then I realized I don't have one. I thought about this guy, but that's an alien. This is a green hand, but it's just Aquaman's glove. So again, if you've got a zombie sticker that you can stick on his chest just to kind of hammer home the fact that this is a zombie, you know, more power to you. I didn't have one, so I just stuck with the traditional Iron Man look. So here's where we have some choices to make as to whether or not he's full-blown zombie or not. So I used the dead card back bling for him. It's a zombie hand coming out of the ground carrying a red card like in soccer. That comes with one of the zombie soccer player characters that you could get in the item shop a while ago. And again, I'm just trying to hammer home the point that this is a zombie, so I'm like getting zombie stuff to go with him. But if you want to make your zombie Iron Man a little bit closer to Iron Man than a zombie, you of course can suit him up with the Iron Man backplate. This actually looks better on like the armor. You know, certainly if you want him to be more of an Iron Man, this fits right in. But we wanted to be a little bit more zombie, so we gave him the dead card. Here again, the Hulk Smasher is with the green coloring, the Hulk hands give him green skin that he can sort of punch through things like a zombie. But if you would rather have him be slightly more on the Iron Man side of the spectrum, you do have the option of making these the Iron Man armor version of the same fists. Again, that kind of gets him back into the armor. You could pair this with that Iron Man back bling to make him more of an Iron Man than a zombie. Or you could use his Mark 85 energy blaster, throw that on his hand, make him a little bit more Iron Man-y that way. There's all sorts of things you can do with this guy depending on whether you want him to be more of a zombie or more of an Iron Man. Guess it depends when he was bitten. I gave him the Skelly Sailor, just a little bit spooky. I was trying to have fun with it. If you have another kind of Halloween-based thing or a zombie-based glider, certainly go for it. There's the Avengers Quinjet as well, if you wanted to keep him on the Avengers side of things. You can't use his Iron Man glider because he's not technically Iron Man. There is an official Iron Man in the game, so that's the only skin who can use it. But this is what I chose. Plasma Trail for a contrail. And then for emotes, I tried to kind of give him lumbering, zombie-looking emotes. Sasquatchin kind of made sense. I think this is basically perfect. This is my favorite emote for him as a zombie. I don't know. It's kind of slow. Worst case scenario. Obviously, zombies don't necessarily have alien llama pinatas bursting out of their chest. But the sort of convulsing he does just ahead of that, I think, makes some sense in terms of transforming into a zombie. Snooze fast. I don't know. Gave him this repulsor spray. If you've got a spray that's like a zombie spray, and you wanted to go zombie with it, by all means, T-pose. And I kept with Knighted here. I just didn't bother changing it. It's not a big deal. But it has a similar color scheme, and it also kind of works. And here is a little bit of gameplay action with these guys. I'm going to start out with Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. I don't like him quite as much because of the Superman logo that I really can't ignore now that I'm seeing him run around the map with it on. Certainly if you want to use the Emoto Cape or something like that to get rid of that, I wouldn't blame you. Nice. I gotta say, I like the way that this turned out more after seeing him in-game than I really did even in the lobby. I was surprised at how happy I was with him in the locker, but I like him even better in-game. So now you have our zombie Iron Man, who I actually, admit, I think he looks a little bit better than I thought he would. I was kind of reluctant to even try out that skin based on the request, but you know what? I tried it. It worked out. Sometimes that's what happens. And the half mask works because it kind of looks like half of his Iron Man helmet got kind of bashed off and, whatever zombie fighting these guys are doing. So, yeah. It turned out pretty well. I kind of like the way he looks. He looks like a, green skinned, at the very least, zombie. Thanks so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Check us out on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Use code TripleHound in the Fortnite item shop and Epic Games Store. And we'll catch you next time.